Well, good evening, everybody. I'm really glad to be here and to announce such a monumental product. It does kind of surprise me because some of the products that we have in the line are so extraordinarily powerful and revolutionary breakthroughs in many parts of biochemistry, both nutritionally and for skincare. This one is a very fast-acting, quite good affecting product, but it doesn't have the magnitude and the complexity of some of these other formulations that we have, such as Transfusium. But Transfusium is a product that you start within about 10 days to 2 weeks. If you're rubbing it thoroughly in, not on, you begin to see the results coming. They get better and better and better and better. With Diminish, you put it on and you see them happen right now in front of your eyes, right before your eyes. Eye bags, wrinkles, fine lines, discoloration, all of those things that make eyes look so old and so taggart and so haggard that weren't there when they were younger just seem to disappear. And that's the whole key to it. This is a true cosmetic, but it has some very powerful biological additives with it to support the skin like no product in the world. Now, we're not the first one out. There's a few other companies selling some products for eye bags, but they almost all make the same, what I consider, mistake, and that is they use potentially harmful ingredients. And they use a biochemistry. This is not a new one. This was discovered 25 or 30 years ago. It's come of age where it's really getting promoted and where we want the quick fix. We want to go in and have a Big Mac or a Burger King done our way now while we wait in the car to get it. This seems to fit that with a lot of people in their lifestyle. Now, let's address the basic problem that we have as we age. Everything slows down, everything diminishes, and a lot of the things within the eye bags that we have is much more complex than that. An eye bag is certainly because there has been a collapse in tissue and fluids in it. Now, the skin isn't resilient enough to hold it back and to pull it up. So that which was in your skin when you're younger now has collapsed and sagged, elastin, collagen, things of that nature, and the whole matrix of the skin has gone down because you're getting older and you have a lot of environmental damage to it. And then, of course, there's a lot of blood circulation that's underneath the eye, and within the eyeball itself, there are fatty pockets that are built there to cushion the eye, to help it against injury, jarring, and all of those types of things. And they start deflating, so to speak. In other words, the fat within them starts to diminish. And when they do, of course, other things happen with your eye, which affects vision and focus and all of that. But now you start seeing blood vessels, and you start seeing a more bluish gray material that's within the fatty cells themselves, and vacancies, and all of that happens. Circulation's poor, damages has occurred, and quite frankly, your eyes ain't what they used to be. So when companies started to bring this out recently, they had extraordinary results with it because it was quick. You could see it happen fast. But just like any product not any product, but many and most of the products I find, especially in skincare, they're not well researched. They're simple, easy, down and dirty type formulations, and yet the effect is what people want. But with it sometimes comes a great price to pay for the people using it. Many ingredients that are put on the skin, on the hair, in cosmetics, in bathing, showering, shampooing, contain many, and I have to say the word potential because we don't test anyone's products. We just test the ingredients and let you know what science says about the ingredients. We don't name companies or products by name because we don't think that's ethical to do, but we will talk about the ingredients in them. Ingredients legally have to be listed, and with them there comes a price to pay or not, depending on what you use. Well, the first mission of Sisel is to do no harm. Sisel safe, we call it. And we find that most products are highly contaminated, in our opinion, and we have a right to our opinion, with many potentially harmful ingredients. And the products for eye bags that we're seeing are no different, in our opinion. So when we take a look at that, we want a product that really works, but that it doesn't harm us. isn't a potential health hazard, or doesn't damage our skin so that it can age faster, or things of that. You don't think of all those facets, do you, when you're really talking about it? But let's talk about how to sell a product really quickly, and we'll get on to it. And I'll be brief tonight so we can get on to things. But Diminish is the name of this great product that we're introducing tonight. It's on the website, so you can see it now. There will be a video that has been produced and edited, will be out in about a week, so you'll be able to visibly see it works. How fast does it work? Hey, quite frankly, folks, you can see eye bags, wrinkles, discoloration, sagging, fine lines, and everything around the eyes can literally disappear, seem to disappear, you have to say. It has to meet cosmetic claims to be in compliance with FDA regulations for cosmetics. They just seem to disappear and go away within about 60 seconds. Now, that's pretty fast, and you can watch it happening right before your very eyes. That's extraordinary. But there are ways to do it, and there are ways that I don't think you should do it. And so this is one of the more difficult products we had to bring out because it's so easy to get a fast effect with some of the ingredients that are there, and a few companies are doing it, and they're just having explosive growth. But with it, what they're finding is one of the basic fundamentals that has to do with selling. Now, here's a big rule for selling. In selling, you need to do three things. Find a need, and then since people will have the need, there's usually something they'll be doing about it. So create doubt about what they're doing is not as good as it could be, should be, or is the wrong thing to do for some reasons. And then the third, of course, is to provide a solution. And the products for quick removal of eye bags and wrinkles and fine lines and sagging and all of that, they're fraught with these. Now, they're very simple formulations, and so I'll explain them to start with. But first, let's say find a need. If you have eye bags, they're very unsightly, aren't they? You can put a lot of makeup and things like that, but really they're made-up eye bags, really, is what they are. And so wouldn't we like for them just to seem to disappear and for as long as possible? Well, we think we have the solution to doing that on both the short term and the long term to see results getting better and better and better, and the appearance gets so good that you will be surprised. You may think you have stepped back in time, at least when you look in the mirror, and those aged eyes that are old and looking poorly can now be beautiful and vibrant and sparkling and dazzling and attractive. And then you can adorn the eye from there. You can use products like our mascara and our Sisel lash, which give such beautiful eyelashes so quickly, and do some other things. But if what's around the eye is bagging and sagging and wrinkled and lines and discolored, you want to do something about that, don't you? And there really hasn't been an answer until recently, and we don't think that answer is the best answer because it's fraught with stage number 2. We do have the need. We want to do something about it. We don't want to have old, saggy, aged-looking eyes when we're looking at someone. So what is the first thing you see when you see someone? It's the eyes. They can captivate, they can mesmerize, they can dazzle, or they can turn you off too, can't they? And we know that. And they get worse and worse. But now how about let's work on making them appear better and better. And we think we have a 1-2 punch that is unbelievable. So now we move to the second stage, create doubt. There's products out there that work, but here's the problem. I wouldn't use some of the ingredients that are in them because of the potential harmful effects they have are so great, and the irritation from these products is so much. So let's talk about what it takes to remove an eye bag and make it just seem to disappear, and do it in a minute or two. There's a few factors. First of all, number one, you've got to do it on clean skin. You can't have makeup on underneath it because it has to bond to the skin. And so what companies are doing with this is they really take a very simple formulation, and I'll go through some of that with you, but one of the main ingredients is sodium silicate. Now, sodium silicate, some of you that might know, I say, well, sand, yeah. Well, it is, but it can be refined. It's more like glass. It has a firmness to it if you refine it properly. But herein where the big problem comes. Most all of them are using magnesium aluminum silicate. They might even label, I've seen it mislabeled on some products where it's called magnesium silicate, but it is not magnesium silicate, folks. It's magnesium aluminum silicate. And knowing what we all know about Alzheimer's and a lot of other things, and knowing that aluminum is a toxic heavy metal, it is a potentially harmful ingredient in our category and in others, independent third-party scientists, that we want to avoid. I mean, after all, haven't we got rid of aluminum pots and pans, and we shouldn't cook in aluminum foil because of the potential that we have from getting in our system? So that's one of the ingredients they use, magnesium aluminum silicate. And to think that a company or companies would want to put aluminum on your face in the eye area where the blood vessels from above the lip and that go directly to the brain, which is where the potential harmfulness could come, and I say could, potential, all of those are legal claims to justify it so we don't get sued. We don't like lawsuits, and we want to be, and we haven't tested anybody's product, so we can't say one person's product does or doesn't. But we can tell you what the ingredients do. So, and don't you think you have the right to know and to choose and use products that aren't using potentially harmful ingredients? You do. Other companies don't do it because they use them, in my opinion. So that's the second thing. Now, the bad thing with sodium silicate and magnesium aluminum silicate is they have an extremely high pH. In fact, most of these products are from about 100,000 to 1,000,000 times different than the pH of your skin, much, much higher. Your skin is acidic, not terribly acidic, but somewhat acidic, but that's where it should be. That's what the protective mantle is, so it helps you. These products are highly caustic. They have a pH ranging up around 11, and 11 is an extremely high pH. So when you see that kind of thing happening, you should be alarmed, because that causes extreme irritation. And the one thing, if you get on the websites and you see companies that are selling, look for the irritation from these products, and boy, you will find it's there. They're having tremendous complaints on irritation. And is this how you want to build a business? They're getting a product, and somebody puts it on, sees the eye bag go away, and they say, wow. And the next day, when they see their skin, or even that night when they take it off, that the irritation is so great and it's sore, and they get open sores and rashes and things like that. What do you think an open sore or a rash allows the next time that you use that product on it to do? Irritate even more for the potentially harmful ingredients in it to go in deeply into the skin and perhaps get down into the blood system even easier? Of course. This isn't rocket science. This is common sense. And so that's what we're suggesting. That is the potential or the possibility with most of these other formulas. And we did extensive testing with them, and with every formula we tested, we found that was the case. And the Internet is full of that. Now, the rest of the ingredients are saying, well, they're using some great things, something like a Botox alternative, and they have this acetohexapeptide. It's called argirellin. And, you know, they're saying, well, this is like Botox. It makes it slip down and relax and go away. Well, sort of it does. It's like Botox at a snail's pace, but this is a really old peptide. It's one of the very first that were ever used in skincare. I used it 20 years ago, and quite frankly, folks, I didn't think it was worth much and stopped using it because the effectiveness was just not that great. And then they go into preservatives and color and a little emollient, and that's about it to make it all mix up. That's a very simple formulation that's used. I can see some of them are using a yellow and a red color, and let me tell you, with that, there are certain ones, especially reds, that are really harmful. They're serious toxins, carcinogens, and things like that. But the ones, in all candor and fairness to the companies, the reds I've seen, the red 40, they're safe. There's nothing wrong with that. So don't get caught up in that if you look at formulation. The big problem is that you're going to have with the competitive products, and this is where we're in stage 2, creating doubt, is that they use sodium silicate, which is not an issue, but with magnesium aluminum silicate, it becomes one. The pH is so high, and the bonding to the skin now becomes so aggressive that it bonds to the skin, and when you go to remove it, you have really got almost like a liquid glass that is liquefied on your face, and it binds so heavily that when you remove it at night, you'll notice one thing. You'll have a really, many people will, and this is what I've literally been reading off the Internet. We found the same thing here. You can have a ghostly, chalky white appearance on your skin Well, and when you take it off and do it even the first time or a time or two, the eyes can become extremely irritated because it doesn't come off easy. And as you take it off, it actually is ripping off, we think, and that's just a guesstimate, but we see some of the comments and things like that and think it is from what we did and what we did. And I tried it on my own eyes just to make sure because I wanted to make sure, and it did. It tears off pieces of the skin, your protective mantle, and then because of a pH of 11, I mean, that is really, really high. I've never dreamed a product would ever put on the skin that would be that high. It's only caustic soda or lye is 14. Neutral is 7, so you can see it's closer to caustic soda than it is to neutral. So do you really want that, a product that when you take it off, it's difficult to take off, the eye looks real poor, ghastly pale, could be highly irritated and inflamed, and when you use it the next time, it will really burn. And if you can live with it, do you think you're going to build a customer base with that? Yet these companies are growing so fast because they're getting so many newbies on it that don't know, don't see, and maybe some don't have a reaction. But I think a great number do, and so it's not a kind of product I want to sell myself. So now we step into stage 3. First is find a need. Second is create doubt, and we think there's plenty of that. Aluminum on the skin, a pH of 11 using an ancient peptide in the world of peptides, the arginine, which I think is a poor one. I mean, I could buy it and use it in my products, but I never would. It's just way out of date. And that's basically it. Simple formula, isn't it? Well, it's not so simple when you can't use the magnesium aluminum silicate with it because it and the sodium silicate forms a really strong bond. But that strong bond can also be a bad thing too. So here's what we've done. We've taken a great deal of work and research and testing on this product to get it out to what we think is really a good one. First of all, we do use the fundamental sodium silicate. And remember, you've got to use it on clean skin, and you've got to let the skin dry, and then you apply it to it. We'll talk about application second. Now we come in, do we want a peptide with it? Well, yes, we do. So we've included that. But we've still got to get it to bind to the skin so that when it dries, it constricts and does what your skin used to do, and that is pull back the skin and the eye bag and the wrinkle and the fine lines so they just seem to disappear, or most of them do. You don't get it all, but I'll tell you what, in some cases you can get it all. In some cases you can get 80, 90, 95% of it. It's so good that it works. So we've come in and we've looked at this, and first thing we use is the sodium silicate, and we use it in a reasonable high amount, high enough to get the job done. But then we combine it with some exotic extracts from an albumin and an allantoin. And those two extracts really work together in a number of ways, but they work with the sodium silicate to put a very good adhering film to the skin so it will grab it. And think of it just kind of like tentacles with an octopus that grabs something, or suction cups, and holds it up, sort of on that principle. That's how these things are working, but when you use the magnesium aluminum silicate, you get such a solid bond to it that it doesn't let go when you're trying to get rid of it, I think, the way that it should. So with these, we want it to bond good, we want it to pull it up, and then we want it to release easily, and we want it to have a lower pH. So we've taken our pH way, way down. It's about, we're getting down close into the 8 range on this thing, which is where about the tolerable level you can have skin. So we don't have this extremely high level of a pH, which is about 1 million times higher than that of skin. So we're within a reasonable range there, so we don't think we're going to have the irritation of things we're seeing, we're not getting it. And then we use these extracts from albumin and allantoin with it, and we put a little bit of glycerin with it to make it more miscible and to make them blend together with it. But that's just a minor thing there with that. And so then we have the product that will dry to the skin. You can apply it, dry to the skin, pull it back, and hold it. The one thing about this, with this type of hold, it will last a lot longer, and we've seen just that happening. They're saying with these other products, you're using the other chemistry of the magnesium, the sodium silicates, and magnesium aluminum silicate, that they're good for about 2.5 or 3 hours. We're thinking on many people that we have seen, this is lasting 5, 6, even up to 8 hours in some cases. It may not all be there after 8 hours, but it lasts a much, much longer, 2, perhaps 3 times longer. We estimate, in our opinion, we haven't done any time trials, so we can just tell you this, but it does last a lot longer, we believe, from what we've seen. And then when you remove it, that is the beautiful thing about this. This is very water soluble. So remember this when you put it on. Don't put on a liquid foundation or makeup over it, because they can be water-based, and that will dissolve it, and the work that you've done is gone, see? So you need to use something like our essential minerals, which are dry. Put them on. You can decorate the eye beautifully, the colors and everything else with that. Above the eye, of course, you can use this above the eye too if you want, and it works well there, but below the eye, it is fabulous. And you just watch them just go away right before your very eyes. And you can use above the eye too, but if you're going to use a liquid-based anything on top of it, it's going to break the bond because this is very water-soluble. But that makes it nice at night because you can sit down and with just water, or if you want to put a little of the firming facial cleanser or something like that with it to improve it, it will just dissolve right away. And you won't have this ghostly gray look. You won't have the high levels of irritation that you do with some of these other products that we have tested. You'll have nice, clean skin to work with. Now, we didn't end it there. We could have done so and said, well, we have a better product, which we do. We think it's not better than, it's vastly superior. It's the greatest product for eye bags we think the world has never seen. We've done that. But now we come in with a whole bunch of emollients that we use in that. And we use some types of extracts from some natural clays and some xanthan gums. And with that, we combine them and we bring in a whole revolutionary new ingredient. And it's called xantholine. And when we add that with them, and some of the properties of the benton or the allantoin that we have with it, you have such tremendous support for the skin, because if you're working that eye area over and you're getting it, you want it to be as nice, as smooth, as irritating, free as all of that. And these ingredients do just that. They're anti-itching, anti-smoothing, anti-irritating, and the xantholine, a totally new discovery from Europe, also tightens. And it takes that bonding that has occurred from these other ingredients we talked about before, and it sort of like just sets them in and interlinks them together so that you have now not just a plastic face. Some of these, I see a report right now on my computer, and she said, this woman is saying, my face looked like I had a drywall look. And that's what they do with these other types of products, but not with this one. The xantholine but we're not using the magnesium aluminum silicate either. But with these other ingredients and the xantholine, it's solid, it holds, but it's flexible. So your skin really can respire and respond the way that we think it should with what we're doing. So that's the combination of the ingredients. And of course, we use a very innocuous preservative to keep it that way. And then we want to hit it with a peptide. But we want to hit it with a peptide like the world has never seen before. And we have what's called a retinal peptide. It is the advanced. Unlike argirellin, which is a 25-year-old ingredient with questionable or minor biological properties to support the skin, the retinal peptide has immense amounts of power. And you'll be able to go on our website and you can look up Diminish, and now we'll have a scientific page, and you can go back and you can look, because it's legal to post the studies on the ingredients to go in it, and we're posting them. And when you see what they can do with supporting healing and moisturizing and anti-irritation and anti-itching and soothing and all of those things with it, and then you look at this retinal peptide, I'll tell you what, if you had false teeth, they'd fall right out of your mouth, because it is so enormously powerful. There's been nothing like it ever before, in my opinion. It is the king of kings when it comes to peptides. This is the powerful one. So we have this all in combination with it. So, have we provided the solution? Yes, I think so. Have we found the need? Obvious, easy to do. Have we created doubt? Yes. Use ingredients with high pH, with using magnesium, aluminum, silicate in the product that they have, in my opinion, is definitely the wrong way. And then they come through with a weak peptide and make an extraordinary claim, which is overhyped and underdelivered, in my opinion, with these companies we use. So we have gone, or that we've compared with, so we have gone and done it the right way. We've got a lower pH. We've got all of these emollients and things for soothing, anti-irritation, anything. So if anything gets through, we've got it there. And then you can wash it off with water, and you have clean, nice skin. So the last thing, the directions, is how to use it. Now we're having it come out. Most of these companies are selling, they might sell it in a bottle in some cases, but some of them are using it in little vials. And they're very important because you can carry one with you in your purse, but their products are lasting maybe 2.5 hours or so, so you need one. Where we're going to have results 5, 6, maybe 8 hours on it. We don't think you're going to need it. So Diminish has 2 very generous tubes in it, and within it, as you unscrew the top, it's ready to go, ready to sell. You can order it in the morning. Order it tonight if you want. It has what's called a dose foot applicator. So you take the dose foot, you unscrew the cap. It's attached to the cap, and you just mix it up, and then you pull it out and underneath your eye. Now remember, keep it out of the eye because the eye has a lower pH, and if you get it in the eye, yes, you can have some irritation. Not like you do with these others, but it's just the pH is different. But if you get some in the eye, just flush it out thoroughly with water, and if you have little eye drops, put it in. It's not a serious thing with this because we're not dealing with that extremely high pH, but keep it from the eye. So underneath the eye, starting from the inside corner of the eye, just daub generous amounts, and this is something you have to play with and learn how to do. Put daubs on it, maybe 4 or 5 places across to the outside corner. And then when you have enough on, and this is when you don't use too much, use just enough and you'll find out, and put your finger on it from the inside and just lightly spread it clear across. Now remember, this is on clean skin. If you got cosmetics on underneath it, it's not going to bind, so this has to be on clear skin. So put your finger on the edge of it and just smooth it to the outside and pull it a little bit as you do, and just do that maybe a couple of times and you're done. Now the key to it now is the product's going to set, and it's going to constrict, and it's going to hold it, but you need to let it form. And so that means you keep motionless, expressionless. Don't laugh, don't blink, don't do anything. Just you can be looking in the mirror, and you can just sit there motionless or anything you're doing, but don't do involuntary things because, remember, the film is forming and it can set in the wrong configuration so it doesn't pull it up and hold it up. You could have a wrinkle or a laugh or a wink or something, and bing, you break that film, see, before it's set. So you go motionless until it dries. It'll dry in about 60 seconds. It's literally gone in. You'll watch your eye bag go away just right in front of you. If you want to speed it up a little, you can grab a paper and just fan it, or you could even take a hair blower and just turn it on warm for the volume and hold it back a little bit and just let it blow on your face, and you'll literally feel the eye bag as it's pulled back up to the position closer to where it was when you were younger, and it'll just go away. Now once that's done, it's got to be dry, so give it enough time to do it. And then we recommend that you don't do anything with it for about another 5 minutes. After that time, if you want to come in and decorate around your eyes, only use a mineral-based color cosmetic, such as ours, and since the others are loaded with toxic heavy metals, use ours with it and just color it with that type of thing. If you're using it above the eye, it's the same thing. If not above the eye, you could use liquid colors or anything else as long as it's not over the product. But remember, the water will dissolve the film. It's been designed that way to release easy, but it will, because of that and the flexibility, and it's not magnesium, aluminum silicate, and sodium silicate, which sets a very rigid, aggressive, irritating, firm film on it. This one has more flexibility. It will last longer, and it will remove easier. So that's the key to it. So at night, when you're done, just sit down, clean your eyes. Of course, keep it out of the eyes. You know how to do that. With water, just rinse it free until it's done, and then you're through. Now, my talk is through too on doing it, but I wanted to tell you one more thing to do. So when you're done, just like we have our skincare line with Transfusium, and you use it and Actify 6000 a day on your face, and that at night you use Rapid Repair because it works great at night for the skin to support the skin as it goes through its own natural healing process. It gives you a lot of support. We are coming out in about, we think about by the end of the month is our goal to bring out a product to use around the eyes, and it's called Vanquish. Vanquish will be entirely different formulation. And I will tell you what, this is I don't know the proper term to use, but it's like a super nuke for eye bags and around there. This is so loaded with the most powerful biological ingredients that I have been able to discover, and it was of time. I've been saving, I've been going after them, getting companies to do it, and this product is incredible. Now, this one is oil-soluble, mostly, and some water-soluble, so it has to go on at a separate time. But what this does, when you rub it in on the eye bag, after you've taken off the Diminish at night, rub this in at the night, and it slowly starts to make and change in the appearance of your skin. You can see changes happening in as quickly as 4 or 5 days with this, and they will be noticeable. Keep on with it, and I will tell you what, your eyes will become even more and more beautiful and more natural looking and appearing. And I will tell you what, this is not a gone in 60-second type product like Diminish, but this can make the appearance be gone seemingly, I have to say the right things for the FDA, seemingly forever with you using it. 4 to 6 months down the road, I think you'll be using a lot less Diminish and just using Vanquish, because all of these structures and features of your skin and eye bags are going to be so supported as they restore themselves with this nutritional support through their own natural processes, which this allows this to do, that you'll be shocked at what will happen in the long run. So here is the second backup product coming, and nobody else has anything like this. And even eye bag serums and creams, they're a joke, folks. They're just moisturizers. This is not. This is a plethora of enormously powerful biological extracts from many different sources that addresses this problem in so many ways that you cannot believe how effective it is. So here we have this powerful 1-2 combination. Right now, gone in 60 seconds, Diminish is available now. By the end of the month, we'll have Vanquish to go with it, and guess what? You're going to have those gorgeous, beautiful eyes that mesmerize, dazzle, and tantalize everyone that you look at. So now all you have to do is decorate them. Some Sisel ash, some of our great timeless minerals, and you'll have eyes that look like you were 20 again. So that's an exciting thing. This is one that is going to build your business. And oh yes, we're going to have little samplers come out and smaller ones so that you can buy them and pass them out and send them to people. Or keep one with you if you think you happen to need. But the tube is small enough. There's 2 tubes to a box. So it's easy to fit in a purse. But I just don't think you'll need it through the day. It just won't. But it is so well formulated where the other's not. You put it on in the morning, by noon they're gone. So you got to do something. You're using this highly irritating thing. You don't want that, of course. And so here we've got that, and we'll have samplers coming out. So in the meantime, what should you do? Well, you can buy a box of Diminish, and there's 2 tubes in it. Take one, use one, and pass one on to somebody else. Or buy 2 boxes. That's a smarter thing. And one for you and one to give to someone else to use, and have them try it for a few days and either come and pick it up at that time, or they can buy it and keep it. What an easy pass out that is. What a business building phenomenon this is. So this product is one from out of nowhere. Here it is. And typical of Sisel, it is vastly superior to anything else in the marketplace. The results will be so great in comparison, we believe, to anything else that's out there. And you'll avoid all of these potentially harmful effects of these simple formulations that other companies are hawking or putting out. But get on the website if you want to. I don't recommend you go looking for the negative, but it is full of negativity about irritation and not lasting and chalky looks and all kinds of things like that. So we've spent a lot of time bringing this. People have been saying, they know we've been working on it for a long time. Say, when's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? When's it going to be out? I'll tell you what, folks, it wasn't going to be out until it's right, and now it's right, and here it is. So get your rear end gear, Diminish is here, and start building. This will build your business like crazy, even faster than Transfusion, which is doing a tremendous amount, and Sisel Lash. But now you've got all these dynamos going, so get going with it and build that future you dreamed of, because Sisel is providing it for you.